This is a podcast called 25 Whistles, talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Yo, Eddie, blow the whistle. All right, I want to go to my thoughts. By the way, I didn't have an episode yesterday. It's today. I've been pretty sick, but that's all. I feel good now. I don't even feel good now, but I feel better.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'd like to first start with I was an idiot. I've got two things that I've been an idiot about, and I'd like to go ahead and express that I also acknowledge I've been an idiot. I've been wrong about this, and I'm going to follow it with I've been a genius.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I've been an idiot. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They're 8-2.
Yeah.
They didn't score a single touchdown.
Yeah, all field goals.
But they just keep winning, and they won a big game. I mean, Russell Wilson did a terrible interception in the game. They still managed to win. Justin Fields made the dummiest play. Not that I wouldn't have made the same play at the end. When they put Justin Fields in to just run the clock out, so they ran like a quarterback power draw, a sweep to the left. He runs around, slides, gets the first down. They should run the clock out. He even gets up and does the first down. The problem is when you slide, it's where you start sliding, so it wasn't a first down.
He was short.
They ended up winning that game. Even though they did not score a single touchdown, even though Russell Wilson played okay. At times it was pretty good, but at times bad. That pick was really bad.
Really bad.
And then the Justin Fields, I just have to, at 8-2, a wise man once said, you are what your record is. And they're 8-2, and they're leading the division, and they'll probably win the division.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy because all year long I've been like, well, they're not going to win the division. So for sure, Cincinnati or Baltimore, whomever. Yeah. And then they go and they beat Baltimore.
That defense.
Yeah, it's really good. And Russ is actually a decent quarterback. And I guess it just goes to show, again, which we've learned through the years, as long as one part of your team is extremely dynamic, if the other part is pretty good, you're fine. Because if there's an offense that's freaking fantastic and the defense is pretty good, that team wins games. And that's what's happening with the Steelers. They're 8-2.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I was an idiot for not giving them the credit that they deserve. I said, there's no chance, no way.
You weren't alone though, dude.
I know, but I was very steadfast in my belief. I'm supposed to be outspoken here, even if I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I only kind of believe it. I'm still like, I believe it.
Yeah.
But now I believe this. There was no way. They didn't have a quarterback. They had two quarterbacks.
And to your point, I've always been with Tomlin. The whole over 500, his whole career, basically, whatever, overrated. And this year, I'm like, all right, I give up. He's proved it.
Yeah.
This is it.
And TJ Watt is
an animal.
Freaking amazing. We always knew he was good because we would see how good the games they would win when he played versus not. However, like he's the guy there. And so since he's the guy, the biggest name, they focus on him a lot more. And it's healthy. It's crazy to watch. Okay, so the Steelers. I'm an idiot. The Steelers are good. But again, they didn't even score a single touchdown. But they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to be tough for me to say. It's a tough question for me to ask. Is Justin Tucker washed?
Oh.
Is he hurt? This is not a Justin. He's a below average kicker this year. And I think, is the greatest kicker of all time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the greatest clutch kicker of all time because he hasn't had the opportunities that your boy Vinatieri had, right? Mm-hmm. Like he made the biggest kicks. Mm-hmm. But I think Justin Tucker is the best kicker of all time.
He didn't miss. He never missed.
He's the most accurate of all time.
Not anymore.
Dang, this weekend.
He fell. He's like a point below. Maybe, you have to look it up. Maybe like Eddie Pinheiro, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's him, but I think he fell for the first time to where he's now second. And I like Justin Tucker for a couple of reasons. One, he used to message me and listen to the show.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's why.
Because he went to Texas?
Yeah. That's why I used to like Baker until Baker wouldn't talk to me anymore.
And you're right, Eddie Pinheiro.
It is Eddie Pinheiro?
Yeah. Wow.
So,
we saw him. Training camp.
They thought you were him.
That's right. That's because I'm Eddie.
And you're Mexican.
Yeah, that's true.
It happens.
So Justin Tucker is now second.
Gosh.
Overall.
Dang.
He's had a bad year. Would you mind pulling up Justin Tucker's stats just for the year, Kevin? Mm-hmm. I get sad for him because he's really good. And I wonder if it's an injury or something because there's no fall off. Like, it's a Big fall off.
But what about a mental game? Like, it's such a mental
Yeah, but
thing?
he's
when
a kicker that's like beat the mental thing forever.
I know,
Like-
but you were human, you know? Like, what if something's
Not
happening
him.
in his personal life where it just like he cannot concentrate?
Yeah, 73% on the year, which is 38th in the NFL. And extra points even, just 97% is 28th.
The personal thing is, I just would imagine over his career, he's had other personal things happen too,
Sure.
and it's never shaken him. So, and you could absolutely be right, it could be something massive. But it also could be like an injury they don't want to disclose, like a small one.
Yeah.
Or I would just, if I were, Harbaugh, I'd be like, and I got to shout out Justin Tucker. He's had an injury. He's been battling all year.
Just
He has to
say
talk
it.
yeah, just say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's the time.
Because you're not pulling him.
No, you can't.
You can't.
No.
He's the greatest of all time. You don't pull him. Okay. Steelers, I'm an idiot. Chargers, I'm an idiot. And the thing about the Chargers, they don't really do anything awesome, but they are just consistent.
Mm-hmm. Like they've been winning and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, they're 7-3.
I know.
Like that's crazy. I look at their record, like they've won that many games.
Yeah.
No, they're 7-3. And Herbert has had to pass way less. A lot of that's because of Harbaugh's system. Just Harbaugh runs the ball a lot more.
hmm
The Chargers, they're a factor. That's crazy to
Yeah,
me.
it's crazy.
They might make the playoffs.
That game the other night, they would have lost in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Over and over.
Yes.
And they actually won it.
Even watching like the play, did you see Herbert the run? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I'm getting blurred here because it's nonstop football. Well, Herbert ran that ball in. Was that last
yeah,
week? Or,
2 weeks,
that 2 weeks ago?
against the Titans.
Did you ever watch the clip of them talking about it beforehand? It went viral, where they're talking about it, and Harbaugh goes, "Like do your arm like you're like a pass." And so Herbert like this, and he goes, "Okay, we're gonna run." And so, but he knew they were probably watching him, and Harbaugh's like, "Hey, just act like we're talking about passing." So they had,
No way.
yeah, and it's
That's
their mic,
tricky.
so it's so funny, and maybe nobody even saw it, but it was pretty
Dang,
cool.
that's next level.
It's pretty cool. He goes, do a pass, like do it, and he did, and he's like, "Okay, let's get it."
I do always like to play when I'm watching, like, when they're going to go for two or are they going to kick it? Like, I like to look at their mouths, but I can never tell what they've decided.
Usually, I can tell by them holding up the number 2.
Well, yeah, well, there's that.
That to
There's
me is,
that.
but that's the only way I can tell.
There's that too.
that's-
Well, maybe I mean more of go for it or not, or punt.
Got it.
Because you're right. They do hold up the 1 to the 2.
No, but I mean, listen, I don't know. That's
I'm
all I
always
see.
trying to see, like, what are they going to do? I can't tell.
I always feel like everybody cancels themselves out, and this is more of a college thing because we did it in high school football too. When the fourth quarter comes, you hold up all 4 fingers to go fourth quarter. We're not tired. Like that's the whole thing. Why everybody holds up 4 fingers? Like this is our quarter. But if everybody does it, then it's back to equal.
Mhm.
It's like
No one's tired.
at times it's like if you and I, what if we were praying for the exact opposite things?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Or we're voting like in Curb Your Enthusiasm, where Larry David's like, "Hey, you vote for this person?" He goes, "Yeah, because I'm not. You just want to cancel our votes out and go home."
That's so funny.
So yeah, look at that. So I'm an idiot. Steelers, Chargers. Thank you. I'm a genius.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Here we go.
I'm a genius where I was made fun of and I was hit in DMs by our listeners of this show, which we loosely call the Whistlers. This hasn't caught on yet, but we still loosely call them that.
I didn't even know that.
We don't even really do it that much. We did it like 3 times. Bo Nix is awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And only because he's so awful or he's so awesome. He just has no freaking fear.
I don't think he's awful, Bones. I really don't.
Early in the year he was terrible.
Well, sure,
That's
sure.
what I'm talking about. Like early I would be like, because I was big Bo Nix before the season started. I was like, this dude is going to go because it's the only way he knows. And you would see him throw like 72 interceptions in one drive. You'd be like, wow, how did that even happen? In the last 2 games, he has 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had 4 touchdowns last week, 307 yards. He's on it right now.
Yeah.
And I think Sean Payton's a perfect coach for him. I got my Bo Nix signed Broncos helmet here.
That could be it too.
I bet Bo Nix Rookie of the Year. Now, I think there's an outside shot he can win Rookie of the Year now. Jaden Daniels has not been playing well.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's also, I think, had a rib. I know he had an injury,
Yeah.
but I think his ribs, even the last game, because they've lost a couple in a row, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even then, he didn't want to run. And that's a big part of his game. I think if Jaden Daniels doesn't get hurt, he runs away with it.
Yeah.
Because it's so dynamic. But Jaden Daniels has not played, and I haven't looked at any stats. I'm only going by watching the ends of games and watching him play a bit. Jaden Daniels has not played well. But I think it's been because he's been hurt. But that's part of it, right?
Yep.
Bo Nix
Slinging.
got the dog in him.
Let me ask you this about Bo. He's doing great, but do you think he can take it to talking about like down the line, next year, the year after, do you think he can keep getting better?
That's
That's the only thing that scares me about him is like he's doing so good, but I think this might be where he peaks.
I think Sean Payton wouldn't have drafted him so early because that's his guy. Sean Payton went specifically to get Bo Nix. I think if Sean Payton didn't see, and I'll do the easy comparison of Drew Brees, maybe not exactly the same with the same skill set, but if he didn't see somebody that he thought he could, and also my answer is just yes, because it's his rookie year. And the biggest growth for the most part happens between year 1 and year 2 in every sport. Because you go in, you're kind of baptized by, oh my God, we're playing more games. It's so much faster. It's physical. The season's just longer. And then you get a break for months to just kind of recalibrate.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I do think that he can be better only based on what a normal rookie does between year 1 and year 2. Even sitting a game out. Look at Anthony Richardson now.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's not going to revert back. I also saw that Anthony Richardson is younger than like 5 of the starting quarterbacks in college right now.
Yeah.
Younger.
I didn't realize that.
Mhm.
How old is he?
I think he's 12.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, he got a first
He's a
armpit hair
baby.
yesterday. I just saw, and I meant to screenshot it, but he's like, they listed 4 or 5 or 6 of the quarterbacks, even some now, and he's like, Anthony Richardson is still younger than all these guys.
22.
Wow.
So
There's guys in the college that are like 25 now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
They started just listing all of them, and they're like, this guy's 22, and even if you pull him now, like you got some guys that are 2 and 3 years ahead that haven't been in the NFL yet. Like you can't give up. So Bo Nix, right now, I'm a genius because he's come on hard. The
Mhm.
Broncos might make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They might get that last spot. We'd have to kind of, I think, yeah. And then finally, I'm a genius, and you guys aren't going to like this.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Texas is not good.
Oh. Here we
I know
go.
that, Mike, I know, buddy.
Uh-oh, Mike.
Not
Here we go.
good.
Tell him, Mike.
Well, lost one game.
I'm so glad you said that because you have walked me right to where I wanted to walk into. Now, first of all, I did watch Texas beat Arkansas, and we're not good. Ole Miss scored 60 on us. We had a couple dumb fumbles, but Texas did not dominate that game. There was no, we're bigger, faster, stronger than you. We just don't have, I don't think our current administration is going to be what takes us to the next level.
Mhm.
We played an 11 o'clock game and played fair against Texas, fumbled at the end.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
close.
It was
Close-ish game.
close-ish game.
Yeah.
Never really, we covered.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, you did cover. Other than that fumble video, I think you could. Oh, man, that was so close.
And I'm not going to be the guy that goes, we almost won. I don't want to even talk about winning. But it's like Texas did not outclass us in any way, and we don't have a lot of class. We have some players. We're not very disciplined. But I'd like to go through Texas's schedule. Texas, game 1, Colorado State. Kevin, what's Colorado State's record?
7-3.
Okay. Not a quality opponent, Colorado State. They don't come from a P4.
What are the Rams?
Colorado State, they got to
Yeah.
be a
maybe.
They got to be a Ram. What? Okay, Michigan.
5-5.
Okay. No quality win there. UTSA,
5-5.
small conference, no quality win there. Louisiana Monroe,
5-5.
Dang, that's
okay,
crazy.
no quality win there. Mississippi State,
2-8.
they're terrible.
Gosh.
Arkansas beat them by 100. And Texas only beat them 35-13. And we literally beat them by 110 points. No quality win there. Texas and Oklahoma.
5-5.
Oklahoma, 5-5.
I kind of see where you're going there.
Oklahoma, not good. Texas and Georgia.
8-2.
And what happened?
They lost.
They lost at home.
They lost.
Texas and Vanderbilt.
6-4.
And this will be their that's a quality win, and they barely beat Vanderbilt. So far we've got 2 quality wins. Florida,
5-5.
Arkansas.
5-5.
There's a trend.
They haven't played anybody.
Yeah.
51-47.
That's the record of all the
Yeah.
teams they've played.
Interesting.
They've basically played a 500 schedule.
Wow. Wow.
And they don't look, when they walk out of the tunnel, you're like, dang. When they play, you're not like, dang. They have a defensive tackle that's awesome. Ewers is fine. And I'm sure he's actually great and he'll be a good pro, whatever.
My buddy Barron, he can pick off anyone.
Anytime they've played anybody, Georgia, they got beat. And Vandy gave them a run. And Vandy got beat last week by South Carolina. No, that was 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Pretty 28-7.
Yeah. Mike, that's all I'm saying. Texas is not it.
All I hear is those are all wins.
That's true. That's true.
Like it's like, okay, we're gonna pick and choose. Like every team, like their quality wins. Like look at the record. It's there.
We could do Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee. You don't want to do that because it's like two different worlds.
What about like Oregon?
Oregon beat Ohio State, which is better than, well, I guess the Georgia went, but we could do Oregon. But I'm talking SEC specifically. Texas they have the worst schedule. It's not their fault that they play the worst schedule, but they don't have the schedule to go, oh, wow, they are good because they played nobody. It's like Indiana. They played nobody. They've won every game. What are they, 5 now? 4 or 5 Indiana?
Indiana 5.
Yeah. And I love Indiana, but I'm not a believer. I think Ohio State's probably going to take them to the woodshed. But I want Indiana to win.
Yeah.
But I don't. Texas is not good. You guys don't have to agree with me, but the stats say what the stats say.
You watch them and you look like you're watching a really good team. But you're right. I'm not thinking about who they're playing. I just feel like they've got momentum, and they do, to me, look like a good team.
Yeah, because they look good in pads.
And when I watched the Arkansas UT game, or Texas game, I thought, you know what? Arkansas is playing them well. That's what I thought, not Arkansas is just being Arkansas and Texas is not that good. I didn't think that at all.
Texas beat the Florida's third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not been listen, and I'm biased. I'm anti-Texas for sure. So this is not coming from a place where I have no bias whatsoever. But Texas is not good. They're a good team. They're a good team. They're not a great team. They play Kentucky next week. They should win that. They play A&M. A&M's a fine team.
They should win
But that will be a quality game.
That's going to be a big game.
Oh,
Just the rivalry back and everything, you know?
And not only that, it's like when you look at Texas A&M, just in general, if Texas A&M wins that, they'll be like every team with 2 losses unless somebody kind of gets messed up here in this next week. Like it's all going to be a cluster at the top of the SEC.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When I was growing up, Texas A&M, that game was like a huge rivalry game. And then somewhere in the middle, Texas OU became the rival. And Texas A&M was just kind of like, oh, yeah, those guys. I forgot about them.
I would argue that you not being a Texas fan has skewed the reality of that situation, that Texas hates OU. Texas is annoyed by Texas A&M, so they don't like Texas A&M.
There we go.
So
they do seem like they're annoyed by them.
A&M hates Texas way more than Texas hates A&M, but Texas hates A&M because they're just annoying.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M hates Texas.
Texas and OU hate each other.
Yeah.
Like Texas's main number 1 rival is OU. Their number 2 rival is Texas A&M. Close, regional.
Sure.
They're annoyed, but when A&M went to the SEC, they're like, oh crap. They went to the big boy league. They're making more money than us now because of the SC TV contract. So they then follow A&M. I don't think there was ever a shift because Texas and OU always were. That's to me, I think that's my favorite rivalry. I know OU and Michigan have one, but I didn't live around there.
I mean, Thanksgiving was the Texas A&M game. Like that's how big it was when I was. I mean, this is when I was young too. Like,
but I don't think there's
7,
any
8.
love loss. I don't think there's any difference in those two, except they don't play anymore until now because they didn't play for years because Texas A&M went to the SEC and
Correct.
they stopped playing.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're gonna have Brandon Marcello on in just 1 second, but first, can I do the commercial?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, cool. I hate this because we lost. I had Oregon -14. They won, but Wisconsin. Kevin had South Carolina -12, Missouri. Kevin lost that one. The only person we were like, "Are you sure?" It was Eddie. That's how this goes. You can't do. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, Northwestern has not let me down as far as covering the spread.
That's true.
They have not.
But it's hard to yell. I'm telling you whenever there's a lot of misses. all year.
I was puckered a little bit there too.
Yeah, when they scored 14, like all
not
quick.
even about this game. I'm just in general. None of us can really be like, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We've missed so many
But
times.
this season, for some reason, those Northwestern Wildcats are like just coming through for me.
We didn't hit anyway.
No.
Except this, I didn't hit.
We didn't hit.
I know as
We're
a
a team,
collective.
Eddie.
But
We're a team.
whenever you missed, do we celebrate the other person? No, we just mention it and move on.
No, you're right.
But see, you rarely hit. So when you do, so that's why you can't yell, I'm telling you.
It's so hard not to, though.
Okay, so that's that. We suck. There is pick 6 though, which is awesome. This is a different type of thing. So with pick 6, it's a download pick 6 app. You download the new DraftKings pick 6 app, use the code BobbySports, and you can pick 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. For example, the Thursday night game coming up, Steelers and Browns, George Pickens, more or less than 57 receiving yards. I don't know. I would do George Pickens more or less times I go,
He caught that.
either crazy or he does something wild or he walks off. Just George Pickens is nuts. I love it. More or less. I'm going to go more. Russell Wilson, more or less than 175 passing. That's crazy. That's his number because they play so much defense. I don't know if I'd even do that one.
175. I
I
feel like it's
don't know if
over,
I would.
huh?
I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't pick that one.
Okay.
Because you can do any of them. Nick Chubb, more or less than 59 total yards. Look at Nick Chubb back in it now.
I know. Miss that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go more. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app. Use the code BobbySports. And now our weekly college football talk with Brandon Marcello. The guy's the best. Works for 24/7 Sports. He's a great writer. We just finished the interview with him as I'm doing this. Got some TV news he's going to share. He probably watches more college football than anybody else I know. He's the guy. That's why we have him on. You can follow him on Twitter at bmarcello or Instagram at Brandon Marcello, and check out 247sports.com. Here he is, Brandon Marcello. Brandon Marcello is on with us. Hey, Brandon, I was talking earlier about Texas, and I'm not going to tell you what I said about Texas, but I just want just some general feedback about the Texas Longhorns football team and how good you think they are. Thank you.
I think they're the most boring, great team in America right now. They just have more talent than almost everybody else that they face, which is good enough to win games. But they're the type of team that can either decide to play with their food or devour it. And they've decided to just mostly play with it. And, I saw them in person this past weekend, and they were most definitely the better team than Arkansas, but then you watch them and they're just kind of playing around a little bit. The offense isn't necessarily as aggressive as you want it to be with its play calling. They're not attacking down the field, but their defense is elite, and that kind of holds opponents down. But then all of a sudden in that game, Arkansas gets back within a field goal, and they're in trouble. And then they respond and get a touchdown the way they need to from Quinn Ewers and co. But you can't play that way in a playoff, just kind of resting on your laurels and thinking you can win a championship that way. And for that matter, I think that's kind of what we saw against Georgia earlier this season, right? They end up losing that game at home big time, their biggest game of the year. They're a great team. They have a lot of talent, but I'm not sure that they're elite, and with their schedule, they just managed to kind of coast by and be a top 5 team. And if they had played one or two more top 20 type teams, they might actually have another loss on their schedule.
We went through the schedule and just looked at their quality wins. Obviously, they did beat Vanderbilt, which Vanderbilt's a little better than we thought they would be. And they lost to Georgia. And so it's not quite Indiana-esque. And I'll have you talk on Indiana next because they really haven't played anybody. But to me, maybe they've played such bad teams, they haven't had to actually, iron sharpens iron. And so maybe they're just existing. They haven't had to be pushed, so therefore they don't push.
I think there's something to that. They'll be pushed in a couple of weeks against Texas A&M when they go to College Station. That's why I think that this team needs some sense of urgency when they get on the road. I thought that they would probably do that even this past week against Arkansas because they were on the road in a rivalry game, and they got up 10-0, but it wasn't like anything special. And it's not just me who believes this. I mean, I'm talking to a lot of people, and they're just going, listen, Texas is just really kind of a boring team to watch. And during the game, like everybody's only talking about, hey, is Arch Manning going to play? I mean, there's still some Texas fans even out there that think that Quinn Ewers shouldn't be the quarterback. And I could see why, because they're not allowing him to throw deep all that often. He does seem to give up on plays a little bit early when the pocket collapses, which is a little concerning. And if you're a team that wants to win a championship, an SEC title or a playoff title, you need to be playing better. You need to be playing to full maximum speed at least some of the time. And they just seem to be kind of coasting by every week.
I do often preface it by going, I hate Texas. Now I hate them because I respect them because they have more money than us. They've always been big brother. I hate Texas. I do respect the fact they have their own color. Like, that's kind of cool. Although I think red is a cooler color. But then I just go in and I think Texas is just, I think they're mediocre because they haven't had to be better than that. And that's what we were talking about before you came on. I did say I think their players are all better and they look great when they come out of the tunnel, but they just haven't really had to do it. So they haven't done it. But let's go to Indiana now because I think it's interesting. Here they are in the top 5. And they have played even less. So I think they're on bye this week too. So are we just waiting for the Ohio State game?
Oh, Ohio State's this week, baby.
Oh, they're not on bye. Were they on bye last
Saturday,
week?
and it's gonna be huge.
Ohio State played Northwestern.
No. Was
Last
Indiana
week,
on bye?
They were on bye
last
last week.
Got it.
Yeah.
They got their big payday for their coach, Kurt Signetti, got a big new contract worth $8 million a year for the next 8 years. And now that they're preparing for Ohio State, actually that line opened up. I think they're like 11 or 12-point underdogs on the road. And, Vegas always knows, right? And I think that you see these the past couple of weeks, you could pinpoint that. Look at BYU, Kansas this past week. Kansas was only a 3-point underdog on the road at BYU. They knew BYU was primed for an upset against Kansas, and Kansas beat them there at BYU. And in this game, you got Indiana as like 11 or 12-point underdog at Ohio State. They know what they see on film and what they see on paper, just the talent level disparity there. But having said that, Indiana's offense has been explosive pretty much against every team they've played. And I've seen Ohio State play in person earlier this year against Oregon, and they're suspect in the secondary. And that's a good matchup for Indiana quarterback Curtis Rourke and his receivers, including Elijah Sherrod, who's one of the best receivers in the country. This game is very interesting, one, for a lot of reasons, playoff implications, Big Ten championship implications. But I don't think enough people are giving Indiana credit for what they've done this year. They've beaten every single team on their schedule by 14 points or more, except for one, and that was Michigan. I think that this game is going to be a little bit closer than that. Maybe Ohio State ends up winning by 10 points, but I think it's going to be closer throughout the game there until the end. And I'm just afraid that if Indiana loses this game, that the playoff committee is going to severely punish them and drop them from the top 5 all the way to outside the top 12. And that's not necessarily what they should do. You shouldn't punish them for the schedules that they've played, and then when they finally play somebody, they lost, so we have to drop them. Well, if that's the case, look at Georgia. I mean, Georgia lost by double digits at Ole Miss. You didn't drop them very far. We got to be kind of maintain a standard here moving forward. I think just because they don't have that brand name that they're being punished for it. I think if you put a big M on their helmet for Michigan and they played the same schedule and they were undefeated going into Ohio State, they'd probably be number 2 in the country right now.
So then I would say that even if they lose, the amount they lose by will be a big indicator of what the committee does. I mean, a 10-point loss, not that bad. A 30-point loss, possibly since they've played no one else, I could understand and go, okay, that's justified that they do kick them out. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, certainly. If they get blown out, if they lose by more than 2 touchdowns, even on the road there in the horseshoe, I think you do need to drop them maybe completely out of the picture there, even with the quote unquote 1 loss, and be behind several 2-loss teams. I don't think there's any doubt about that. My question is like, do they drop them, say, like 7 or 8 spots just for losing by a touchdown or by 10 points? That would be the incorrect thing to do, because based off the past, they haven't done that to other teams. But they've been treating Indiana differently in these last 2 playoff committee rankings. They had them below some teams they should not be below, including that were below teams that were in the AP poll below them. So I have questions. I think that they kind of pinpointed Indiana as their sacrificial lamb this week, that if they end up losing, even by a tad bit, they're going to drop them steeply.
So Signetti signed the deal for 8 years, but we know the nature of the beast. Do you think if LSU ends up moving on, not this season, I don't think they're going to move on this season, but that Signetti could end up at a place like an LSU? Because the 8-year deal really doesn't mean anything except for him. It's a little bit of stability. Do you think he's a guy that still would like to move to one of these major blue bloodish type programs?
I think a lot of coaches out there say that I'm happy where I'm at. I haven't really thought about ever leaving. But that's the case. But then when they're presented the opportunity, actually, their agent approaches them and gives them a reality of what life could be like, that changes everything. A lot of coaches just literally live in a bubble. And until someone comes up and pops it and walks in there and shows them something, they're not really aware of what else life could be like. So it depends, really, one, on what kind of challenge you want next in a year or two. Secondly, is he still winning at Indiana? And then third, what's his new buyout? We haven't gotten the new numbers for his buyout right now. And listen, Bobby, we're in an era now where a lot of universities are hesitant to fire coaches because they're afraid of paying the large buyout. And why is that different from the past? because revenue sharing is coming up this fall. They're going to have to spend $20.5 million each year on players, and to pay that in addition to a buyout of 20, 40, 50, 60 million dollars, it's a hefty price tag, and one that is very difficult to kind of sell to your constituents, your boosters and everything, because a lot of these ADs are now going out, hey, I need you to, the money you were giving me, I either need you to give me more money, or I need you to redirect the money you're giving actually to the athletics department or to our NIL situation to help with this revenue sharing. It's become quite the load, and it's why a lot of coaches out there who may have been fired this year, including Billy Napier at Florida, are safe going into this offseason.
Also, Napier has kind of instilled a bit of confidence in me watching him now too. You know, I feel, who cares about me and my confidence, but still, like I you know, and I've seen his, 4-7 or 5-5. He's had those general type seasons, but like they've come on and they've, with a third string quarterback, they didn't win that game, obviously, the kid from Yale. But I don't know, like I'm rooting for Billy Napier. I'm rooting for Alabama. I've never rooted for Alabama ever, but the way that they acted, like DeBoer was like the worst coach ever, and he was wearing a T-shirt, and like the guy is probably top 2 or 3 coaches that exist on the planet now in college football, and the Bama fans were acting like we just need to move on, and that makes me root for him for some weird reason. So like I'm big Alabama buyer right now. If I had to pick a team, I would pick Ohio State / Alabama, but I'm going to just pick one, Alabama, because I'm a SEC homer. Who would you pick if you had to?
It's a great question. I'm on board with Ohio State, and I'm also on board with Georgia at this point, despite having 2 losses. When they play well, they play extremely well. They play better than anybody else in the country, in my opinion. And I thought this past week, Carson Beck, who had thrown more interceptions during a 6-game stretch in the SEC than we have seen in several years, he really bounced back against Tennessee this week. Didn't throw a single interception, and he gained some confidence. And why is that? Because their offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, just finally decided to scheme up some plays that would help them. They started throwing to the tight end. They are loaded with tight ends. And when you throw to the tight end, it's much easier routes to throw to, right in the middle of the field, usually shorter stuff. And they've got the type of tight ends that can do a lot after the catch. So they did that. 10 of his completions were to tight ends in that game. Easy passes, and 2 of them went for touchdowns. That gives Beck some confidence. It also adds a different wrinkle to this offense, which had been struggling throughout this year. But Georgia's got all the other pieces around him. They got a running back. They got the offensive line. They definitely have the defense to play for a championship. And Georgia's battle tested. They've been on the road at Alabama. They've been on the road at Ole Miss. They've been on the road to Texas, and they beat Texas by double digits. I really like Georgia at this point. I think they've got a little bit more momentum going here into the latter part of the regular season.
Deion Sanders, Coach of the Year?
Yeah, I think so. Most definitely. He's up there. You know, if Kurt Cignetti were to somehow beat Ohio State this week, I think Kurt Cignetti would definitely probably be the Coach of the Year material there. But Deion Sanders, what he's done at Colorado, not just like from last year to this year, but in season, has been incredible to watch. Week 1, I was there covering them, and their game against North Dakota State, they had a lot of the same issues they had last year. The offensive line couldn't block. The defensive line wasn't really getting to the quarterback, creating havoc. But they've really have gotten better week to week. And you actually look at the strength of their team. Yes, we want to talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, the best quarterback-receiver combo in the country. But that defensive line is one of the better ones in the country right now, just as far as havoc rate. This past week against Utah, they forced 3 or 4 interceptions. They had 4 sacks. They had a bunch of tackles for loss, disruptive in the backfield. And Utah coach Kyle Whittingham, who's been doing this forever in the industry, said that that's the best team they've played all year. And by the way, they just played an undefeated BYU the week before that. Colorado has gotten better week to week. And I know that's a cliche, but they legitimately have. That's what's been most impressive to me about this team. It's not necessarily just the record, but how they got there. They're getting better every week, and that's a great story to see.
I have 3 final questions for you. I want to go back to Ohio State for a second and the pressure on Ryan Day, not to make the playoff, but to win the national championship. Let's say, they get the bye, which they'll get the bye. Let's say they lose in we'll call it the first round, but it's actually the second round. Let's say they lose there. Is his job in jeopardy?
That's a very interesting question. I don't think so. It also depends on like the context of it. Are are they losing the Big Ten championship game and then also losing their very first playoff game? That would be damning. I mean, heck, listen, I think we all assume they're going to beat Michigan. And right now they're probably like 4 touchdown favorites against Michigan in the final game of the regular season. But goodness, could you imagine if he loses to Michigan again? I think that would be enough to potentially have him out the door. The fans there were livid even when they lost to Oregon earlier this season, because the big knock on him was like, you can beat everybody but Ohio State. And then you lose to Oregon. Now the big thing is like, you can't beat anybody in the top 5 unless it's like Penn State. And that's it. It's very high expectations there. I think they're higher there than really anywhere else in America this season on any coach. And anything less than getting to the national championship game there is a disappointment this season because of everything they did in the offseason, the transfer portal, hiring coaches. I mean, hell, you went and hired UCLA head coach Chip Kelly to call plays for you. And if you fall short of reaching the national championship game, it's a failure to them.
Hey, Brandon, do you feel like, and I know you're going to answer this in a humble way, but do you feel like you're getting like more famous? Because I feel like you're just like in a lot of places now. Do people like recognize you more if you're out at games, or are they like, yeah, you're Brandon Marcello?
Yeah, mostly in the SEC. I've been in the SEC for quite a while, so that helps as well. There was this period of time there for about 2 or 3 years where that wasn't necessarily the case because I used to be much bigger physically, and I lost a lot of weight, so I became a little bit unrecognizable to people. But yeah, most definitely. I do a lot more different types of hits with people, radio, TV. I'm doing a lot more TV work. In fact, championship weekend on SEC championship weekend and all the other conference title games, I'm going to be in studio all weekend at CBS Sports doing stuff. So I can't wait for that. And, it's just a lot of fun. I love talking football, and I'm just open to any opportunity that comes my way to kind of share my passion.
Dude, that's awesome that you're going to go do the studio stuff. Congratulations. That's massive. Like, I'm proud for you. That's really cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm just trying to decide if I should wear a suit or just be completely casual and piss everybody off in the studio.
I often have that decision to make amongst myself. And if I ever, it's like going to a party or like a gathering. It's not like I go to parties, I'm the freaking biggest loser there is. But if it's like we're having an event and it's like, how should I dress? If I don't know the people, I tend to overdress a bit just to be safe. And then once they know me, I will way underdress and just DGAF and like show up in like a t-shirt. But I like to set the stage on like, I care. And then once you're like, oh, this guy cares, then it's like, I do the artist thing too, where I'm like, I'm an artist. I show up how I am. But dude, I'm looking forward to watching you on that. That is really, really cool. Okay, final question. SMU, should they make it?
If they win the ACC championship, I think so. ACC's bordering on maybe being a 2-bid league, but it most likely looks like 1, but it could be 2 still. And SMU, I think they just got to win out the regular season. They can't afford another loss against Cal or Virginia because that's weak losses. So if they win out, go to the ACC championship game, and if the team they play is Miami, I think the cachet there is possible that even if SMU loses that game, they would make the playoff potentially. The thing that's kind of holding SMU back a little bit right now, even standing where they're at, undefeated in the ACC, is that they have 1 loss in non-conference, and that's against BYU. And that team was a top 5 type team, but they just lost this previous week. So that hits them a little bit. But I think if they just win these next 2 games, get to the ACC championship game, and if they face Miami, even if they lose that game, they have an opportunity to potentially get in, but it's going to be pretty slim. Their best chance, obviously, is just to win the ACC title and leave no doubt. But SMU has been an incredible story. I think they've won 17 of their last 18 games. It's an incredible thing. First team ever to transition from the group of 5 conference to a power conference and start better than 1-0 in conference. And here they are undefeated in conference near the end of the season, something we've never seen before in college football. Don't think enough of people are talking about it. I've written about it in the past, just a few weeks ago, and more people will start taking notice, obviously, if they get to the ACC championship game. But it's an incredible job Rhett Lashley's done down there.
They take notice because he's Mr. Network now. Going to show up in a suit now talking to us.
Big time.
Oh, I probably got some like stocks to go trade as soon as we get off here. Like a CEO to talk to. Holy crap. Brandon, thank you. Love you, dude. And we'll see you next week.
See you, Bobby. Appreciate you, man.
See you, buddy. All right, a few things that I want to mention. Number one, I'd like to acknowledge Eddie because I do know, Eddie, you did keep notes for games this weekend.
Oh, man, it's a
Ooh.
game changer. Game changer. I actually remember games. And I don't even think I have to look back at my notes. It's the fact that,
That's exactly it.
I didn't realize that.
But
If I wouldn't-
it's like school.
I never kept notes in school.
Because I would like keep notes of everything and rarely would have to go back and look at them because I remembered because I was writing them down.
Because like I would watch the game and be like, "Ooh, that's awesome! They carried him onto the end zone. That's really cool." The running back didn't have to run. Who was that? And then write the name down.
Bring me a few notes.
Yeah, so like I'll do that one for example. That was the Broncos. It was Williams. Williams is about to score. They're like right 4 yards away from the end zone. He runs the ball right down the middle, and he's not going to make it. So his O-line just picks him up.
Yeah, it takes him in.
He didn't even use his feet. They just carried him in. I'm like, I didn't know they could do that. That's awesome.
I can read you a couple of my notes. I just like write things like Josh Allen had to, right? That's what I wrote.
Had to.
Yeah. So, but I know what that means. That's a trigger for me to go. They couldn't kick the field goal. They couldn't give Patrick Mahomes the ball back.
Yep.
Because Patrick Mahomes would have, according to history, driven and won the game because they could have scored a touchdown to win. So they went for it. 4th and 2.
Yeah.
And also, Josh, that run, beast, like Derrick Henry type.
Yeah.
Like, don't get in his way.
And I don't think he ever actually went down, did he?
No.
But like 4 defenders
Yeah,
went down.
Like, but they had to, and like I was rooting for the Chiefs to win the game. I like the Chiefs. I also have them in our GM league, which we all buy teams at the beginning of the year, and if they win, you win. But I liked it that they went for it because even if they would have gotten it, they gave Mahomes a chance to win the game. But because they did get it, and it was a 9-point game, they weren't able to come back. It was a 2-possession game. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the note I wrote.
You want to hear my notes on
Josh
that
Allen
game?
had to, yeah.
Because that's interesting. He had to. So this is my notes. First is Jimbo Cook scores first TD. I thought it was hilarious that Jim Nantz called him Jimbo Cook.
That's what Josh Allen calls him.
I didn't hear him call him that.
So that's my note on that. Like Jimbo Cook. Interesting. And then I said, Bills down by 2 within 4 minutes. They drive the ball. They have a 4th and 2 at the 30-yard line. They go for it instead of kicking the field goal and making it a 5-point game. Then Allen keeps it. He scores. Bills up by 9.
I think I just AI'd the screen.
Yeah, he
said,
No, dude, I wrote all this down.
That's good. College-wise, I wrote, really wish for that fat boy touchdown. Now, that's from the Florida LSU game.
Didn't watch that one.
Mm-mm.
And the LSU fat boy, fat guy touchdown. We love fat guy touchdown.
Yeah.
There's a fumble.
Lineman.
He picked it up. He takes it off running. Then he gets smacked. He fumbles it back.
Oh, no.
That game was wild.
That happened to the Cowboys last night.
That's
too.
wild. I didn't even watch any of it.
Stupid big boy carries it.
I don't even
and-
watch that. I don't even
Yeah,
watch
that
that
game
crap.
was-
I don't know why I watch it. I missed the first half. We had basketball practice. And the first time in my life, I said, I'm going to basketball practice instead of watching the game.
Really?
You're going to be there for your kids for
Yeah,
the
you
first
don't want to
time?
be sad. We'll give quick thoughts on these games. Packers, Bears, what the crap? Like Caleb Williams, what was great about Caleb Williams this game was that they had him throwing the ball much quicker. He got rid of every pass quick. He wasn't trying to be Superman and survive. And the Bears played good enough to win. They had a great drive at the end. And the Packers blocked the kick. That was crazy. That was awesome. I loved it. I love a block kick to win a game.
Yeah, they're the best.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And all week long, I guess they had been planning on I don't remember if it was a special teams coach. Should have wrote this down. But he was like, we think we can block a kick during the game because we thought that because his trajectory was so low, how he's kicking. They blocked a kick to win the game.
They study the trajectory of the ball, how he kicks it.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
Lions, Jags. I watched like 2 plays because by the time I turned it over, it was like 21-0 or 3. And I was like, this is it.
Great fantasy game.
I'd flip it back over and St. Brown caught another touchdown. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no need for me to watch this
I didn't know you
anymore.
can score that much. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Vikings, Titans, Will Levis is just, what are they doing?
I don't know.
I know what they're
Is
doing.
it Will? Is it Will or is it?
He's not good. They're not good.
Okay.
But you can also not be good and he can still be good, i.e. Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Patriots are not good, but you're starting to see Drake May be pretty good
Yeah.
without a real cast of characters.
He's like a
to
mini
elevate him.
Josh Allen.
No, yeah. But the thing is, you don't want him to win.
It's
You want him to
perfect.
play well.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. Gives you hope,
Yes.
but and then also more hope in the offseason.
You know,
So-
he's youngest of 4 brothers. That's why I guess he plays so hard.
You wrote that note down?
Yeah, it is.
Nice job. Dolphins and Raiders. I mean, Brock Bowers played awesome.
Yeah.
But the Raiders are terrible.
Awful.
I wrote this down too. I won't do all the games because it's a day later. We're about a day late for recap, but check this out. Oh, listen to this, by the way. Here's another one. Alabama has more wins over ranked teams than the top 5 combined. Listen to this stat.
This year or?
Because I wrote this down. Yes,
No,
this year.
really?
Yeah, wins over current ranked teams. Alabama has 4 right now victories over teams currently ranked. Oregon has 2. Ohio State has 1. Texas has 0. Penn State has 0. Indiana has 0.
Interesting.
Alabama has more wins versus the top 25 than the top 5 teams combined. Tell me that ain't crazy.
Yeah, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, and LSU.
Isn't that wild? I'll take a picture of this. It's my Bo Nix auto rookie that I saved when he played at Oregon.
Oh, that's cool.
I saved it because I was like, I'm a believer. And this is before even the NFL draft.
Is that a 10? Mint
It's
10?
a 10.
Nice.
It's a 10. Yeah, I did that. And then I also have a Brock Purdy auto double patch rookie from Iowa State.
I mean, no one was keeping that back in the day.
Dude, that's a $1,000 card. Yeah. And then I have my favorite one, a Jake Paul auto teenage from Pop Century.
Hilarious.
Looks like Justin Bieber
He
from
looks
that
like a
era.
little kid.
He's a lot smaller, too. Not so
Yeah.
ripped.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize he was so big.
He's jacked, dude. He's so big.
He's like thick.
Yeah, and then compared to his brother, well, didn't realize his brother was so tall.
I
but
know.
Yeah, he's way bigger than his brother.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. This is my note I made. Winning percentage is Jets starting quarterback. Zach Wilson, 364. Won about a little more than every third game.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, 342.
This is gonna hurt.
Aaron Rodgers, 273.
Casey, I wish you were here.
What
I
a
know.
disaster.
He'd be shaking his head
What
right
a
now.
disaster.
I can't believe they lost that game.
What? Oh my God. I can't either. I watched most of the second half because that's where that game was for them. Because ugly.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
I was glad that Anthony Richardson was playing.
You see that first running touchdown where he ran that corner over?
No,
I mean, absolutely
I did
just
not.
murdered the dude.
did
Murdered
not.
him.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. Freaking Colts, dude. Like they're not good.
I know.
They're fine. But Anthony Richardson is so dynamic. But the Jets suck.
Yeah.
That was my note for that game. Jets suck.
That's the only note.
That's not all you need.
Dude, it sucks for me being an Arkansas fan. Like Casey and I, we're just like kindred spirits. It just, we're used to it sucking. It doesn't mean it sucks any less. You're just better at it.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks so bad. Don't me, you Patriot, win all your championships.
Hey, man.
Hey, I know the Rams barely beat the Patriots, but the Rams look pretty good.
They
Yeah,
do
I mean,
look
4
good.
touchdowns from Stafford.
Yeah,
and
Rams look pretty
Although
good.
Puka looked like he was going to get hurt again. Then he came back and played, so I don't know.
Did you watch Taysom Hill's? Did you see his like 80-yard run?
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
He scored, I think.
No, he did. He did. But that one run that around the left side, was it left side?
I don't know.
It's the left side.
Yeah.
Dude, it was. How did they not catch him? But
Yeah.
also, you're like, he's big and he can run.
Yeah.
He's fast. That guy does everything.
And he's getting a little older now.
63.
And he
63.
Yeah. Jake Paul wanted to fight him, but it was too old.
I got to take some hill on that one.
I don't know why too, but he popped up on my Instagram like his family, and he's a girl dad. I didn't know that, and like it's just so different his personal life versus like going in the field, running like that, and knocking people over. He did score 3 touchdowns though. That's crazy.
3.
Yeah.
Fantasy.
Monster.
If you can play him at quarterback or tight end in fantasy because
Yeah.
they have to hit a certain amount of snaps in order to do that. And in most, you are able to do that.
Oh, is he still down as a quarterback? I know he was in years past. I didn't know he was still.
I think from last year, he was in one of the leagues I know for sure because I saw him on the waiver wire and I didn't pick him up. I was like,
Yeah.
who's going to waste a spot on? Oh,
Ooh.
God.
That's so hard too. Like different leagues do different scorings, different settings, and so
I hate playing in 2 leagues.
me
the
too. dude.
worst.
Me too.
I really would. I've only ever played in one until last year, and it was another group of close friends, and I was like, fine. Like last night, I had CeeDee Lamb going for me in one to
Yeah.
win and going against me in another to win. And I was
the
like,
worst.
oh, yeah. And then he only scored mid, so I lost both. Like
The worst
either
case
don't
scenario.
score at all or
Yeah.
put up some real points.
It's
Okay, there's that.
not his fault though, man.
Michael Chandler got beat.
He got beat. He got beat pretty bad too. It was a 5-round match. That's a championship rap match.
Former guest on the show in person, UFC fighter Michael Chandler.
And dude, but here's the thing though. His physical shape is amazing because he did get whooped for 4 rounds, but that last round, he was like, usually when people fight in the 5th round, they're toast. They're done. Their legs can't hold anything. They can't fight anymore. Their punches mean nothing. No, not Michael Chandler, dude. He picked up Oliveira and like almost like he squatted him. So they were like, picture this, Bones. He kind of had Oliveira had Michael Chandler wrapped, okay? Wrapped from behind, like about trying to do a chokehold on him. Michael Chandler gets up like he's squatting and picks him up in a
I
squat.
do that to my wife sometimes. She's like, wrestle. I'm like, just like, bro, I just brutal take her up. Yes.
Do that?
Yeah, because she'll like jump on me from behind, but I'm stronger than her, so I can like get up. Yes.
Yeah, he did that from the ground
That's
and then
crazy.
tried to slam him backwards.
That's crazy.
Boom! Did it twice. So, like, yes. Is Michael Chandler, did he get beat? Yeah, but dude, his physical shape is pretty amazing.
Is he washed as a fighter?
No.
He's 38.
That's what I'm saying. Like
And he definitely got on the mic afterwards and challenged Conor McGregor again. He said, get out of your bed. Come on, let's
because I
fight.
got canceled earlier this
but
year,
after
right?
he lost, it's hard to do a challenge where someone listens when you lose.
I know.
I think Jake Paul and Conor McGregor could be the next that one.
They already boxed, right? No, that
was
was
Mayweather.
Mayweather. Never mind. I
Yeah,
I get all those money scams mixed up.
I mean, the two greatest promoters though, McGregor,
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, and Jake Paul.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
I'm not hating.
I also say, and I have like 30 things and we'll be done here, but I don't watch much women's boxing. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch much boxing. I just don't watch much boxing. Oh, by the way, let me say
No one
that-
does. No, really.
Let me say this. Your passion about that UFC fight that you watched,
Yeah.
that's it. Do that to football.
Well, I have to pay $80 to watch that.
Good point,
So,
good
like,
point.
I'm all
Well, what
in.
about Sunday Ticket?
I do, but it spans out the whole season, so I don't even think about
You
that.
can
See, that's
gamble
where,
$80.
that's where it is right there. You heard it.
Yeah.
You heard it like that sparkle
I mean,
in
he was
him.
recreating
Yeah,
it.
he was like,
in
you'll
front
never
of us.
believe it. The knee. That's it. That's the sparkle.
Okay.
He didn't even need notes. He just went.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't take notes on that one.
That women's fight was one of the best fights I've ever seen in my
That's
life.
awesome. And that girl got gypped.
Wait, what?
What are they called?
So-
Gypped?
No, that's when you get stolen.
I don't know enough.
She got stolen, yeah. her
I
fight.
don't know enough about it because I think boxing's all rigged anyway. Not even Jake Paul, but like in general, you hear all the. I did watch. Well, it was buffering so bad even for that
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
But whenever because one of them was from like Ireland or Italy
Yeah.
with the flag.
Ireland.
I get that one mixed up. And the other one from Puerto Rico, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
She was
When-
Boricua.
So whenever the Irish girl
Mm-hmm.
would hit her, she
Why
would
do
hit
you
her.
say it like that?
I don't know if it was Ireland or Italy. I don't.
It was Ireland.
Ireland.
It
Dude,
was-
she would hit her so much harder.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like, okay, the Puerto Rican, she landed 100 punches. I'm just making up numbers. And the other girl landed 40, but those 40 knocked the out of her.
Yeah. Her eye was like folding over her eye.
And
Oh, gosh, that was so ugly.
And the headbutt,
Well, that's what caused it, the headbutt.
the headbutt was the eye, but I'm talking about just the fight. Yes, but then it was an awesome fight.
Who won?
The
Irish
the
girl?
Irish girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did get
Dude,
robbed.
The Puerto Rican did.
Yeah.
The only part, again, I know nothing about boxing. So I'm watching this with fresh eyes. I mean, I've watched boxing, but I don't know anybody.
When's the last time you watched a boxing match? Like Lennox Lewis?
No,
Oh,
Mayweather and McGregor.
Yeah.
Not even a
Okay.
real one. That's not even a real one.
Yeah.
You know what? I watched. You're gonna have to help me with the names. The one guy from England who has the bald head, who's funny, who shouldn't look like a great, who's
The
a
big guy.
Fury.
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
When he fought,
The other really big
yes,
guy.
because so Tyson Fury is the big white guy, and there's the big black guy. They
Yeah.
fought like 3 times against
What's
each
his
other.
name?
Yeah.
I don't know either of their names. I watched one of those, and it was crazy.
That was a good one. I don't think the last one was the second to last one. I want to say.
There's a Mexican that's really good, Canelo.
Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like a famous boxer that still boxes.
and I think Jake Paul called him out and said Canelo
He
needs
did.
me. He
He
said I don't
did.
need Canelo. Canelo needs me.
Yeah.
If they want money, it's Jake Paul. Go fight Jake Paul.
But these are older boxers that he's
for sure.
challenging.
Jake Paul's a genius.
Okay.
Jake Paul's a genius. Like, you cannot like him. He doesn't care. He wants you to not like him. He's playing heel.
Oh, I don't care.
He's playing a heel, and people are like, we hate Jake Paul. Yeah, hate him all the way to the bank. He made $40 million. And that's just from the purse.
I mean, he does have kind of a sweet heart, too,
He's a
because he purposely didn't knock Mike Tyson out when he could have.
The problem is, though, I know he carried him, but then he had to say it at the end in the press conference. I didn't like that. He goes, yeah, I had to carry him. If you had to carry him, then you carry him.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
But also, he's playing heel. He's a heel. It's the greatest. Yeah, I'm a big Jake Paul fan. I don't even know what else he does. Logan Paul's awesome. I've watched him wrestle, and like, he looks legitimate.
He wrestles?
He's WWE. He's a champion.
Yeah.
He was a
I
champion.
didn't know that.
Yeah, those guys, I can't hate on them because they have done,
And they got the prime drink.
they've done it all.
Yeah.
And they were,
And then what's that spray that he was using?
Dude.
oh, I saw that. He kept spraying him.
He
And
kept
everything.
spraying him with something, I'm sure,
the
some
car.
product.
I can see where people will be annoyed by them, be like, what do they do? But the opportunities that they had were the same opportunities that anybody else had.
YouTube.
No, Vine.
Vine. That's right. That's right.
Everybody had those opportunities, and they chose to use those, strategize, market, make some mistakes. Dude,
Yeah. I used to hate on him. Now it's like, all right, respect.
Respect.
Yeah.
You can still hate on them,
Yeah, you don't have to like them.
but respect. So much respect. Okay, and I don't know them personally, so if they've done like some cancelable stuff, don't cancel me for that.
There might
Okay.
be some stuff out there.
That's one.
Yeah, probably.
I have two other things I want to mention. I do want to go with the Paul Skeens patch. I know, Kevin, you saw this too. I
Yeah.
saw what tipped me off about it was the Pirates posting on their social media. The Pirates said, if anybody finds this card, which by the way, I saw Skeens doing a video where he was just signing it. It's a 1-on-1. Any rookie patch, they wear it during the rookie game, and they take the patch off immediately, put it on a card. So it's not a cut patch like them. It says like it says like I forget what it's called, but it's like first game, whatever.
Okay.
And they put it on a card. It's a 1-on-1. It's autographed. Because Matt's son, Holiday, wore one of
Jackson.
his first game. Yeah.
MLB debut? Or?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
So as soon as the game's over, they take it off, put it on a card.
Okay.
So the Pirates offered 2 season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years, a meet and greet with Skeens, 2 autographed Skeens jerseys, a softball game at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni, a private tour of Pirates spring training facilities, taking batting practice, warming up with the team. So it's a whole thing, right? But then I follow Ken Golden. He's like, don't do that. He's like, you want to change your life? This is $1 million card.
$1 million.
Or more. He was
Yeah.
he's like, bring the card to me and I'll sell it and that's your money.
Well, why do the Pirates want it?
So they can have it and show it off.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good call, because I was already biting at the 30 years of season tickets right behind home plate. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they think it's a 7-figure card.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. One other thing was the game-worn Michael Jordan jersey. His game-worn jerseys I see quite frequently on the Golden app, which I haven't been buying as much. I do have a couple cool balls. And the balls aren't crazy expensive, but I have a Magic Johnson Larry Bird dual ball that should be getting to the house anytime.
That's pretty cool.
And then I have a Tiffany. You know that Tiffany blue? Like you go to the store in the mall, the expensive jewelry store.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Tiffany, yeah. Tiffany.
Yeah.
That blue, Tiffany makes basketballs, high-end basketballs, and I have a Larry Bird signed Tiffany ball
Dang.
that I don't have yet.
That's a thing?
It is a thing.
Wow.
I know.
You have anything, Jordan? Like anything?
Cards, nothing signed because I just can't pull the trigger on spending that much money.
Yeah.
This game-worn jersey from the Chicago Bulls 96-97 season sold for $4.68 million.
Oof.
It's the 4th biggest price paid for an NBA jersey. The Jordan 98 Bulls jersey sold for $10.1 million in 2022. That's crazy. The thing is, the bubble hasn't popped. I don't even know that it's a bubble because it's history. Like there's a card bubble. I don't know when that thing's going to pop or even it's going to pop.
I know.
And the housing bubble hasn't popped. People have been saying for years that's going to happen. It hasn't. You bought property, it's still going up.
All
Still
these
going,
bubbles.
for 3 years, it's like bubble, 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 bubble. No bubble, no bubble for me.
But I do feel like the card bubble pops every like 20 years or
maybe.
so.
But if we're 5 years into the bubble,
Yeah, we're
it's-
still in it.
It's still pretty new, like the momentum that's been building on behind cards.
But
the
MJ
problem is
bubbles
too-
don't burst.
Well,
True.
And it's like a history-worn thing, right? There's only so many. The problem with the cards is they just start making more and more and more. And so then you're just
Yeah.
saturating the market with so many that
Yeah.
that's what pops that bubble. But I thought that was pretty cool. That's a lot.
Any desire for
No, because I don't
something
wanna,
like that?
I don't have to guard it. I'd be afraid to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to go put it in like a safety deposit box and to show people pictures of it.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
I know. That's stupid. Okay, we're done here. I'll end on this note. This is the greatest thing. This is the greatest trouble to be in. And Mike, you can hit the music there if you want. Family Matter star Jaleel White, Urkel,
Yeah, Urkel.
is shedding light on his fame. The actor who played Steve Urkel from 89 to 98 revealed in his upcoming memoir called Growing Up Urkel that they told him you have to wear looser jeans to hide your big bulge.
Wow.
That's the greatest thing. I imagine.
You've never been told that?
No, they're like, hey, could you tighten up a little bit? Could you pack it up? Could you do something? Why does it look like it goes inward? That's what they'd say to me. Why do you have a camel toe?
Why is it tucked?
Yeah, I'm like, no.
It's not.
White recalled show executives telling him to ditch his suspenders and high-waisted jeans because I guess his dong was too big.
Why does he say that?
Yeah.
I mean, why did he put that in his memoir?
I would love to have to write that in my memoir.
You could. Who's
Nah.
gonna?
Yeah, who's going to know?
Who's gonna question that?
Everybody that knows me in the history of the world
True.
and
Dude, I won't say anything. I swear.
Yeah, it ain't you. It's everybody else in the history of the world. So Jalil White, shout out to you. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys later on this week. We do have the Tulane head football coach, and what a year! I mean, it's rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they've been pretty good the last couple of years.
So hopefully we'll get him on later on. We got a couple other things possibly later on, and I think that's it. All right, blow it up. All right, thank you guys. See you next time.